Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. Here on the Shreenapreneur channel, I share information about government contracting, veteran business content, and other business tips. Muted. What's up, everyone? What's up? What's up? What's up? It's a little weird to see myself and it's still daylight because usually I do these super late. So I wanted to bring you all in because I haven't really done a live since around New Year. And you know what I'm saying? Here we are. And so Michelle, welcome. She says she's catching the live for the first time. I was trying to explore some other times because I know people have stuff going on, you know what I'm saying? And there's other things that you need to do besides watching me. Okay. So this is a live Q&A. So I just want people to just start asking questions. I have a little bit of a plan, but this is for y'all. So people hit me up in my DMs. You hit me on the YouTube comments. You hit me on LinkedIn. You find my number and call me. You find my number and text me. So you ask a gazillion questions a day. So now this is the time for you to ask your questions. But before I really get into that, thank you, TJ. Thank you. I appreciate it. So before I get into that, for those who don't know, I have my GovCon Now course, and I teach about federal contracting, local contracting, corporate contracting. And so, I just want to highlight some of my students. When you get into government contracting, it's all about, what you make it. It's all about how much work you're willing to do, how much you're willing to sacrifice. I talked to one of my students, well, it's a couple, talked to them today, and they were like, man, we feel like we're behind. They just started last week, and they're already halfway through the course and have already reached out to subcontractors, looked at opportunities, a specific opportunity, and they already hit the ground running. They feel like they're behind. And so there's been a few students that I want to highlight because they have really been communicating with me. They're doing the work. And not to say that any of my other students aren't doing the work behind the scenes, but this is all about you putting in that effort. So, I can only carry even myself so far. So you have to put in work for yourself in order to be successful. I give you the tools, you take the tools and you build a shed or a house or whatever it is you're going to build. So I got to just go ahead and I got a new toy, y'all. Can y'all hear that? Does that sound crazy or does that sound good? I'm like a little kid, but look, so I want to highlight Melanie. Melanie, her birthday was a couple of days ago, so we want to go ahead and say happy birthday to Melanie. Okay, so she's my newest student, and she's already doing the work. She's already asking questions. She's already in here. She's already trying to make things work. We have Sherry, and she's the one that's I feel like I'm behind, but it's girl, you are not behind. You are a weekend, and you're already, making things work and just shouting out. Always going to shout out Shanita because she's always looking for more opportunities. She got her payday, so she's good. This is what this is all about. I love to hear the success stories. I love to hear when you guys tell me whether you take the course or not, whether you take someone else's course, I always say that I want you all to be successful regardless. So I like to hear those wins when you're I watched your videos and then I ended up bidding on something and winning. That's just as dope for me. You know what I'm saying? I just want you to get to the promised land, however that is. And highlighting Stephanie, Renata, also one of my super go-getters. It's I feel like I'm behind. I'm like, girl, you a couple of weeks in, it's all good. Just got her SAM registration, is looking at some local opportunities as well. If you didn't get a chance to check out my series, my 5-part series, I talk about local contracting as well. So you don't have to be registered in SAM. Isn't that crazy? You don't have to be registered in SAM in order to start contracting. That doesn't mean that that's the stepping stone. You can actually have multi-million-dollar contracts on the local side. So you can do local contracting for forever and never register in SAM. So if you didn't get a chance to check out my 5-part series, the 5th episode came out today. So make sure you check that out. Highlighted Shanisha, also one of my super go-getters that's I'm in this thing. It may take a little while to kind of get started, but once you get started, that engine goes and you're good to go. David, that's my digital marketing guy. He has been communicating with me regularly. Sika, Shonda, you guys are forever supporters in all the platforms that I share this information. So, they're the ones that's communicating with me. So if you're a student and you're not asking for more help, I'm here. That's a part of the service. That's a part of the GovCon Now community, GovCon Money Makers. We have that free community where I think it's like 500 something people in there. So you can find your contractors, find friends, networking events, all that kind of stuff within that group. But then when it comes to the course, you got to utilize me. Like this is rare, okay? Like this is rare form. So I got people who, respectfully haven't paid me who reach out. And then I got the people who did pay me that's like dodging me. Don't be dodging me because you're going to win some contracts under my watch, okay? So I think we got our first question. Michelle, I'm in the construction and general O space. I cannot get a good janitorial subs. What do I recommend? Okay, so that's an interesting question. First of all, where are you located? Because I'm sure that must make a difference. I mean, I have a janitorial company and you ain't reach out to me. So, that's one of the things is like, depending on where you're located. And if you feel like you can't find reliable subs, I will also ask, where are you looking? Are you just looking in like, just certain websites, or are you Googling, like where are you actually looking for your subcontractors? So just let me know based on that, what you're actually doing. Again, y'all, this is for y'all. All the DMs and messages and comments I get on a daily basis. No question is a stupid question. For real. Like, I mean, I know teachers told us that growing up, you're like, there's some stupid questions. But no, when it comes to government contracting, it can be very overwhelming. So I want you guys to utilize this time. And I only got an hour. Usually I do 2. I only got an hour today. So you better get these questions in because at 6 o'clock, I'm outie. Okay. Outie. So hello, is it Recreated Designs or Rye Created Designs? Shout out to Casino. Let's get it. Thank you for what you do. Appreciate it. I don't know if N is Indiana. You're gonna have to be more specific. When I see down here, I'm gonna skip a little bit, but you said I made cold calls to subs I knew. So when you say that, I'm assuming that you weren't able to find like anyone for a particular opportunity. Did you not like something about them? Let's keep this dialogue going. This is good because if you made cold calls and you're like, they're all duds, that's probably pretty normal depending on where you are. And I've been in Indiana and you might have found some duds. So keep that going. Like, what else did you do? Was it for a specific opportunity? Was it federal? Was it local? Was it a large opportunity? Something like that. So thank you, Michelle, for asking questions. Hi, everyone new here. Hello, Miss Tay Renee. I like that, Tay Renee, okay? Michelle, I'm registered for local contracting in Maryland, and they send solicitations. That's another thing. When you register with city and state, they will typically send you opportunities. So that's really good. But I'm having an issue with the subs. I don't want to bid without labor to back it up. I completed a 5-day challenge with another person. Okay, cool. And I'm gonna slide over to, they were all duds. I'm sorry. For local opportunities. So I don't know what anyone else's challenge, like if someone else had you do a different thing. I don't know what that entailed, but what I typically do when it comes to that is I give you several different methods of contacting subs. And that includes reaching out to previously awarded contractors. So if you see an opportunity, including the opportunity that you were looking at, you can see who bid on those, and those could be your subs. I don't know what your criteria is for subs. If you're looking for someone who's the same, has the same, if they're your peer or whatever the case may be, you may be looking for them in the wrong way. Like if you're just calling a janitorial company, they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. You might want to find someone who's already been awarded a contract. Okay, boom. So let me see, because it kind of, she said if she was still in Atlanta, would have called you, believe me. I would say that we do like different areas, but I don't know about Indiana, sis. Like I did not enjoy myself when I came to Indiana, but maybe someone on the call might be in that area and you guys can connect. Or if you're not in my GovCon Moneymakers community, then maybe someone in Indiana there. So that's a free community. It's like a Facebook group outside of Facebook. So make sure that you check that out and see if there's anybody in there who's able to help. All right, so we have Kay Wilson, currently work for the government in mental health, substance use disorder, Medicaid field, working with vulnerable populations. Are contracts available for this sector? When you say working with, what does that mean? Are you a counselor? Do you provide shelter? Do you like, what are you doing for them? Let me know what you're doing for them, Kay, and then we can kind of explore from there. I would go on to say that I'm sure there is something, but is being specific will help me determine where to lead you. This sounds very nonprofit, but there's always gonna be a government contract for that. Okay. All right. Hey, Raina Wells, always a supporter. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Skip down to about the middleman. I didn't told y'all 50 billion times. Do not say middleman to me. Where's my thing? Don't say it. Don't say wait, let me do my button. Do not say middleman to me. Ever. Okay. So anyway, I'll just entertain it right now because maybe you didn't know. Maybe you're new here, but welcome anyway. Okay. About the concept with the state of North Carolina, state gov North Carolina, is it different than dealing with federal gov, the process? I don't know what your conceptual idea of middleman concept is because I don't talk about that. But if you're talking about doing subcontracting, is it different dealing with the federal government, the process? I'm kind of confused about your question. Be a little more specific so I can understand what you're actually asking. You're saying, is the process the same as this process? Like, in what way? Help me. Okay. Next one. Just me. I'm gonna need you to put y'all's real names on here. New subscriber. How do I get started? Contracts with no money. That is like this long. So that's not even something that can really be answered in this form, unfortunately. But I do have a few videos that you can check out. The Ultimate Guide to Government Contracting is a lengthy one. And some people are like, oh my God, that was too much. But it's like y'all want all of it and then you want a little bit of it. But you know, I'm here for it. I understand. I'm here for it. So getting started could mean anything because I teach about federal contracting, local contracting, and corporate contracting. So depending on where you're trying to get started, what your industry is, and you're saying with no money, there of course is always ways that you can maneuver that. And but just be a little more specific. Okay. We talked about that. So okay, so do you guys have questions? Because I mean, if y'all, I hope y'all did y'all pay for a challenge? Because if you did and you don't still have your answers respectfully, like ask the question. It's cool. Like, let me know what you need help with. Cornelius, hello and welcome. I'm definitely willing to do the footwork. I just need to be pointing in the right direction. Yeah, and again, I have a couple of videos talking about how to get started or different industries to explore. Ways to get funded and that kind of thing. I got a few more videos that need to be edited and then they'll come out. But I'm finding that there's a lot more people now who are asking about how to get started. When I first started, my channel was more about like strategy, but there still are multiple ways to get started. So I'm probably going to expand on getting started a little bit more. So let me go back to Michelle. I like the idea of calling out previously award companies. Yes, absolutely. That's what I do. It was for 3 buildings. Yeah. So it sounds like it's a large contract. I'm not sure how large these buildings are that you're referring to, but it's really good. And this is why I say, like, I want y'all to bid. I want y'all to bid on contracts. I don't want you to be afraid of bidding on contracts because that's very important, right? But I want you to build relationships first if you can. Like, if you're going to janitorial, right? Then try to start communicating with janitorial companies before you bid on something because you'll get all that out of the way. Now you can look at a solicitation and say, okay, I'm not going to bid on this solicitation. I'm just going to look at it and see what they're requiring and then start then start communicating with some janitorial companies so I can get ready for the next one because janitorial is plentiful. That's the one area the river will never run dry. Okay, let me go ahead. So y'all gonna get tired of me. You're gonna be sick of me with this little noise thing because I'm like a little kid. But yeah, so with that, I want y'all to bid, but try to get the subcontractors first if possible. So, Adrian Wynn, how would I be able to get into compliance if I owe taxes after I filed so I can start bidding on local and state government contracts? That's a really interesting question. I'm not sure where you're located, Adrian, but in Georgia, there are some contracts where it specifically a document states that you can't owe state tax, which is like, oh my God. Now, whether or not this, okay, I'm not saying I like to do off-colored stuff, but I try to make it if I can make it. I don't want to say fake it, but make it if I can make it. So if you're the thing that you're going after, the bid that you're going after is specifically say you can't owe no taxes, and you're like, I know I owe taxes, go for it. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? Like they'll just be like, unfortunately, you didn't get this opportunity because you owe taxes. I don't know if you're talking about federal taxes because IRS is coming to get their money, win, lose, or draw. So it's just a matter of time. So you might as well bid on something so you can make some money to pay them back. Just saying. Okay. Y'all gonna be sick of me. Oh, it's all good. You know what I'm saying? It's all good. Just don't say it no more. Don't say it no more. Hello to, is it Terrell Eubanks, Listen and Learning? Yes, I love it. I loved it. Stay tuned. And Crystal, you made it. Crystal's a longtime friend, y'all. She ignored me. Look, I'm gonna get in trouble. She ignored me for years when I was telling about government contracting a long time ago. But she's on the bandwagon now. You know what I'm saying? Like she on the bandwagon. And anyone that I can teach about this freedom is, I'm here for it. Okay, so Kay, I work as a substance use contract manager. Okay, and I write and manage over 20 million in healthcare contracts for a publicly managed care organization. Okay, so with that, you kind of know, what contracts are out. Then, girl, you need to be telling us. Like, I'm gonna need you to tell us what's out there. So, if you are a contract manager, then you kind of know what those agencies are paying for. So, I'm assuming they're paying for like residency. They're paying for where people need to live. I've seen contracts for like cities and counties and stuff where they needed someone to clean halfway houses, stuff like that. So I'm assuming you probably work with halfway houses or people going into halfway houses. And I've seen cleaning contracts for that. I've seen even like substance abuse counselors. I've seen even the medical services for these same people. So, whatever you saw, that's where the contracts are. So if I'm mistaken, let me know if you're like, okay, that's not what I mean. But those few that I mentioned, I would assume are very closely related to, that industry, like substance abuse and stuff like that. And that may be at the local level. There's some federal because there are programs that I've heard of for people who experience like PTSD and they had substance abuse, and there was a program for them when they're on active duty. So, stuff like that is available federal, but you might be more on the local and corporate side with that. So let me know if I'm way off. Okay, what's up, Chris Hill? Hello. I just recently submitted my first non-government bid with the local public transit authority in my city for janitorial service. Okay, that's dope. So give you some for that. Now it is still government, so don't call it non-government. It's just local government. Okay, so we got to make sure we get our verbiage right. So as you're moving forward with this and you're telling people what you did, it is local government. So it's just not federal. It's not through SAM. And congratulations on that, because I don't know which public transit authority, but baby, the one here in Atlanta, MARTA, SMARTA, they are notoriously horrible. So that's another thing to make sure that you look at if you're going after a certain city or county or system, like transit system, or, some people say the FAA is rough. Like, just kind of get their track record, or maybe if you can talk to someone who's worked with them, you might, save yourself some headache. I don't know. That hopefully the one that you did is perfect and everything is going to be great. You're going to win and be a millionaire and everything's going to be all good. But I'm just saying that's another thing to kind of keep in mind. So, and I hope I'm saying that right. Recreated designs or right created design, is the process still the same for state versus local? No. So state versus federal. So federal is you got to register in SAM. You may or may not get certifications. That's really beside the point. But certifications that are, all that stuff is free. Registering in SAM, certifications free. And you sometimes, some people get awarded federal contracts right away, but a lot of them, it's a little more challenging for some locations and some industries to get a federal contract right away. So some people will start at the local level to get past performance to go to federal, but that doesn't mean that you'll have a bigger contract on the federal side. So again, for those who maybe missed earlier when I said you can stay at federal forever and make a lot of money on the federal side. So the process is going to be completely different. And not only when it comes to state versus federal, but also within that state. So Georgia compared to Alabama, compared to California, compared to Indiana, they're all going to be different as well. There may be a state website that has like all the state contracts, the county contracts, and the city contracts, and the school system contracts might be all on the state website. Sometimes, not all of them, or it might be just all broken down based on region of a county, region of a city, region. So it's not only is federal versus state different, but state, county, city, all that stuff might be different within your one state. So again, I teach about all of that stuff because I started off local. Like I bid on stuff. I was registered in SAM. I had my SDVOSB certification, all that stuff. And I was bidding, but I wasn't winning. Even with the quotes, I wasn't winning. So I went to the local side, and that's where I won my first 3 or 4 contracts were local, and they were 6 figures and all that. So a lot of people will hinge on the federal side when you can start local, and it's just basically the same. Just saying. Okay, back to you, Kay. Basically, hold providers accountable and make sure they're using the money awarded to them. Okay, let me reread that. The basically hold providers accountable and make sure they're using the money awarded to them. Now, providers, look, we ain't in the industry. Help us out. But I'm assuming providers like medical providers. I'm guessing. But make sure they're using the money awarded to them, using it properly, I'm assuming. So if that's the case, then you still see what they're being awarded. So those things are in turn contracts. So if I'm off, again, help a sister out. Help a sister out. Crystal, how do you choose an industry or find out what is out there before getting into it? Okay, very good question. So I like when it comes, I'm going to break that question into 2 parts. So when it comes to how you choose an industry, I tell people to start with what you know. Now, for those who don't know me, this is your first time hearing me, whatever. I am a retired signal warrant officer. So that means I just did IT in the Army. That's it. Okay. For 20 years. But then as I started my business and I was transitioning out, I went to facility management. So totally different from IT. But I was doing real estate. And I liked the renovation process, and that kind of translated over to facility management, maintenance, facility support services. It kind of translated over to that. And so I wanted to do that. I didn't want to do IT, but I was still kind of in it, and I had a contractor already. So start with what you know if you can, or something that you're willing to do, or something you have some support on. So for those who are in my course and that have gone into facility management, they know that they can use me as past performance and to help them through all the contracts that they're going to do under facility management. And for those who don't know what facility management is, that's like painting, janitorial, floor repair, landscaping, litter pickup, pressure washing. That's like inside and outside facility maintenance, whereas like construction is like new builds typically. So that's maintenance, facility maintenance is when it's already built, and construction is usually new built. But basically, you can go into something that you have support on. If your dad is an attorney and you want to look at some legal contracts, or your mom is a nurse and you want to go into nursing contracts, if your brother's a plumber and you want to go to plumbing contracts, then go for that. Go for what you can execute. Now, that doesn't mean you have to do that, obviously, but I would recommend that first. Now, as far as find what is out there and what to get into, just start looking at opportunities. You can look at them in SAM. You can look at them at your state website. You can use some of the third-party websites like Gov Directions. I talk about Gov Directions a lot. That's GOV Directions, because y'all be coming for my neck saying that it sounds like I'm speaking a different language when I'm speaking. So govdirections.com. You have BidNet, BID, bidnetdirect.com. You have Bonfire. So a lot of these are like paid services, but they have like a free element. So I always say free first if you can. So you can use some of those third-party websites to, look through opportunities to see, okay, this says delivering paper. Like, I ain't in the delivering paper field, but I can do it. Like, I have a truck, I can rent a truck. Let me do that. So start looking at opportunities. And when you look at the solicitations, you can read them. I mean, like, y'all gonna have to read. I swear, I don't know what it is. It's like your eyes just don't want to work when it comes to these solicitations. If you read them, then that will get you over the fear of reading them, like of finding out what they actually call for, because a lot of the stuff is jargon. Half of the documents are going to be jargon. It's going to be the history of the city, history of the location, like all the parameters, some stuff that you don't even need to really know. Like, you should read it, all of it. But some of the stuff you don't even really need to know until after you win, like how to invoice. You don't need to know how specifically, you don't need to know that, like know it. You need to be aware of it, but you don't need to know it when you're putting in a solicitation. So, some of it is going to be just information in there, even as a reference point for the contracting officer if you get awarded. So look at opportunities or go into something that you are familiar with or you have support on. I hope that answered your question, Christelle. Okay, so back to Cornelius, full service moving and storage company looking for different ways to find local contracts in Miami or Broward. Hey, I don't know if Shanita's on the call, but she's in that. She's kind of in the well, you said moving. I'm sorry, my bad. But basically, you can look for, I think on one of my videos with Brent Archie of Archie Supply, someone asked this question and he said, as far as like the moving and storage, you may be near a Navy base. And so if you are, that's something that's constantly needed with service members. I'm sure there's probably Army and Air Force perhaps in Miami. I'm not sure, but I would go on to assume that there is Navy bases locally. So I would reach out to them. I would go to the actual, if you're familiar with the base, I'm not sure if you're a veteran, but if you're familiar with one of the bases, they have a housing, what's it called? A housing department, not department, what is it called? A housing building or whatever. And you just ask them, hey, let them know this is what I do. And I want to be added to the preferred list. Like me as a service member, I've used that service where I was located. You're just going to go by whatever that particular housing company is the housing within the military base. You're going to go with whatever they say. They're going to give you a list of preferred companies, and you're usually going to go with them because you're new to the area or you're about to leave or whatever the case may be. And you usually only use that service 2 times. When you get there, like when you first get there and when you leave. So, you got a constant rotation of soldiers coming in and out, or seamen, airmen, whatever they call, coming in and out. And so you reach out to them to try to get, let them know that you're here and these are your services. And I'm sure there's opportunities on, SAM, and especially at the local level, and you're near a port, I would go on to assume there's going to be a lot of opportunities available for, for what you do. I hope I answered your question. I feel like I can't talk today. So, Chris Hill, I would have thought they had a procurement department. And look, I forgot what you said. So let me go back up. Originally, you said with the local, the transit authority. Okay. And then you said you would have thought they had a procurement department. Do they not have a procurement department? They should. They should. And but that doesn't mean they're good. You know what I'm saying? So recreated designs, any advice on bidding on bids overseas, shipping products, or even providing services? I did a video with Keel of Govlier, and he does corporate contracting. So he does a lot of overseas stuff. And I would say if you're brand new to government contracting, maybe stay away from overseas until you're very clear about what you're providing. because there's going to be a lot of gaps there, like manufacturer troubles or something like that. I don't do anything overseas. I do know some people that have like janitorial contracts in Jamaica. I'm trying to get that. Look, who got the hookup for the embassy in Jamaica and Costa Rica? Those are the two places. Or like St. Croix, daggone St. Lucia, Turks and Caicos. Who got the daggone hookup to the embassy in those locations? Because your girl will be in there scrubbing toilets. Please believe that. Please believe that. But anything, I'm sorry, I totally went off script. But when it comes to overseas, as far as products, I don't know because I haven't done it, but I've heard a lot of people that do it, and because they were already doing it, kind of like shipping fruits and stuff like that, making a killing, especially importing. So they have a connection overseas somewhere, or not even. When I think of overseas, I think of like the Middle East, but that's not the only overseas, obviously. But like the Caribbean, where they have a connection there already, and they import fruit here to the U.S. Those are government contracts as well. So as far as the biz, they're still going to be in SAM. If you're talking about federal, they're still going to be in SAM. There are going to be some websites that those different countries are going to have. I don't know them. Never done them. The only ones I've ever looked at were in SAM for different locations like the Virgin Islands, Hawaii, you know, the ones that are still considered like U.S. territories. So, and I have seen Puerto Rico, but you know, you would need to maybe go on the embassy website. Like, I don't know how to do this, but I would Google procurement, embassy procurement, Costa Rica, embassy procurement, Jamaica, or something like that, and just see how you can find a way to do business with them. I need to do that for myself anyways, as a matter of fact. So if you happen to do it while you're on this call, let us know, because I want to try to do, I don't care what it is. As long as the money makes sense, I'm trying to get to one of these countries with a contract. I just haven't been focused on that. And thank you for bringing it back. And let me write that down. So we're going to be doing some embassy contracts. Look, I'm gonna do an embassy challenge. Like, get a contract through the embassy. That's going to be my challenge. Embassy contracts, okay? Doing whatever it is that you do or whatever it is you want to do, okay? Let's do that. Okay, Kay, I'm sorry. I feel like the kid in class is like, what? I don't understand. So thank you for being patient and responding. So basically, I hold providers accountable and make sure that they're using the money awarded to them appropriately and serving meeting members' needs. Yes, that makes sense. So whatever it is that you've been holding them accountable for, those are the contracts. So that part makes sense. So are you asking what contracts can you do? Because if you are, the same thing you've been holding people accountable for, that's what you're gonna do. Okay. Okay, Michelle. Networking with 3 janitorial, but they were down and dropped. It's not funny. Look, I know the struggle. Now, do you have a janitorial company, or are you just trying to do a janitorial contract? There's a big difference. So just let me know. That's not really like it really matters, but just let me know if you have a janitorial company or you just try to do a janitorial contract to see what's popping. Okay, is it Lactic Heart? Why do I feel like I can't say that? Love it. I'm janitorial, but I want to change my long blank business name. What's your business name? Shit. I had to change my business name too, because I was doing real estate. And then I actually got my first 3 contracts with my old name. I hated it. Hated it. And then when I wanted to change it, it was during COVID. And so if anybody tried to deal with the IRS during COVID, baby, it took about 11 months to change my business name. Oh man, I was sick. I was so sick because every time I heard the name, I just wanted to crawl under a table or something. So it's okay to. So in other words, I said all that to say, especially if you don't have any contracts right now, and even if you do, because I had contracts, change it, amend it. So you would amend it through the Secretary of State usually, and you would you don't register for a new one, but it's not called amended when it's through the IRS. It's like you change your name and they tell you exactly how to do it. I had to escalate it. I was calling them jokers that they opened at like 7. I was calling at 6:59. Like, somebody help me. So they had to escalate mine. So just know. Michelle, I know that certifications don't get you contracts. How do you feel about WOSB? Great question. So WOSB, Woman Owned Small Business Certification, which is federal only. Remember, federal only, that has nothing to do with local contracts, is on hold right now. Not on hold, but they're behind. They're 8 months behind. So if you're a woman and you want to go into federal contracts, just know you have an 8 month wait right now. If you submit it today, you have about a 6 to 8 month wait, but that's okay because that's only 5% of all contracts at the federal level. So what we tend to forget is that 20% of all contracts are small business contracts. They're called total small business. Okay, total small business contracts. So we got 50 people on here. Make sure y'all like this video. Hit a like if you haven't already. Hit a like, hit a like, hit a like. And also share this video if you feel like it's important for someone else. And go ahead and don't forget the super chat. I haven't said that the whole time. Don't forget the super chat if you feel like this information is valuable. You know what I'm saying? These are some really great questions. I actually think I like this time slot too. So, back to your question. My bad. So, yes, woman-owned small business certification is actually on hold right now. So, should you get it? Sure, it's free. Why not, right? But also, there's a total small business, which is 20%. You have the SDVOSB, which is the Service Disabled Veteran Owned Small Business Certification, federal. Now, they have some on the local side too, but I'm talking about specifically for federal. That is about 5%. And then the VOSB is 3%. They have the EDWOSB, which is an economically disadvantaged women-owned small business. And there's only 3%. So just a side note, the EDWOSB, I personally haven't seen a whole lot of contracts under that. So I know some women will like go the extra mile because you got to provide more documentation to be the EDWSB, but I feel like there's less contracts for that. So personally, correct me if I'm wrong, if anybody's a cert expert, but from what I've seen, the EDWOSB is just not worth it. But even more so right now, with the WOSB being on hold, go after it, but don't let that be the reason why you don't bid on any contracts because you'll be waiting for a long time. So certifications do not get you contracts all the time. Honestly, I've never won a woman-owned I've never won I did win one, but it didn't get executed. That's a whole other conversation. But really, the certifications are just a bonus, but you can get the contract without certifications. So does it give you leverage? It gives you leverage for sure if you're going to be working with a bigger company because they can't get the contract without you. So that's one way to use that strategy with certifications. So if there's a woman owned and you've been wanting to work with this larger company, and they don't have to be a huge company like your Boeings and John Deere and all that. They could be like a $10 million annual revenue company or 20 million or even 30 million, depending on what your NAICS code, NAICS, NAICS code is. That determines how much you're still under. Okay, let me explain this way. So there's a side standard through the Small Business Administration, the SBA. And so they say in these industries, you can be under 30 million and still be considered a small business. But it varies based on industry. So whatever your NAICS code, NAICS, whatever that code is, it's going to be different. Construction is amongst the largest, I believe it's like 32 million or something like that. And there's also multiple construction NAICS codes. So anyway, I digress. But basically, certification don't get you contracts necessarily, but you can use it as leverage. So if you can get a certification, get it, be done with it. And then also on the local side, there's certifications. You got your DBE. The HubZone kind of crosses over sometimes. So the HubZone is a federal certification. Sometimes it crosses over to local, depending on what you're doing. And I've even seen veteran certifications cross over, but that's not as typical. But nonetheless, at the local level, they will usually have their own certification process. So they usually call them like LSBE, like local small business enterprise. And that just depends. It might be called something totally different. So don't come for me in those comments saying, oh, that's not what I saw. But it could be anything. It could be you checking the box in the on the solicitation. When you go to fill out the solicitation documents, you could just be checking the box. And that will be you saying that you're a minority, you're a woman, you're a veteran, whatever, or a local small business as well. Or you have to go through a whole certification process to get preferred, what points. It's basically preferred local business. So it will be, like they'll give you 5 extra points if you are registered at with that certification for that local area. So that's local, and you got federal, and then you got good old corporate. Corporate certifications are the ones you have to pay for. Those are the $150 per year or every other year, the $500 per year every other year. Those are the certifications you have to pay for. And those also sometimes cross over to local, but you'll know when you look at a solicitation if they're asking for, you're like, I know that certification. Is it, do I have to pay for it? So I would say when it comes to corporate certifications, unless you know you want to do corporate, contracting, don't pay for a corporate certification yet until you know for sure that you want to go that route. You may not ever do corporate. So you pay $500 for nothing just to sit there, and the time ticks. So soon, day one of you having that certification, you got 364 days to, unless it's a 2-year, but you have a limited amount of time to utilize that certification and that agency in order to get contracts. So I think I beat that dead horse enough. If that did not answer your question, Michelle, let me know. So don't forget the super chat. All right. So, okay, vulnerable populations, people who are uninsured, underinsured, and usually require Medicaid or state funding. Yes, okay, I'm very familiar with that. Very familiar. Got it. And then Adrian Wynn, I'm working on obtaining my building code inspection license in Florida. Do you know where I can look at in state government? So those two things don't go with each other. So that's great. If you want to get your license, that's great. I know Florida's different. We all know Florida's different, right? So there are some contracts where you have to be licensed for, I think Shanita was telling me for painting, which is crazy, or certified or something. So as far as state government, start with like literally Googling, and I'm not saying this to be funny. I'm saying this because this is how I found out. Google state of Florida procurement, and then just start looking at how to do business with the state of Florida, with the city, with the county, and then you can, figure out, do they have a lot of opportunities for, you're saying building code inspection. So I'm guessing you're trying to be a GC, doing construction. And if I missed that, I'm sorry, but yeah, basically, they may not even need a license. Like I stopped going at the opportunities that needed a GC license here in Georgia. And there's a lot of opportunities that I feel like they kind of stopped like requiring a GC license for a lot of the stuff because they were asking for a GC license for everything. And you don't necessarily need to be, even like demolition, you don't need a GC license. So you may not need it. So just think about that. Okay, so Crystal asked, what kind of healthcare contracts are out there? I don't really know because I don't look for those, but you can, let me think, what would be one? I think I mentioned some earlier. So like nursing, like an actual nurse. They need a nurse for, let's say that you military, so you know that having a nurse work on base, that could be a contract. Or someone who's like coming in to do special, what do they used to call it, girl? When we would do like the monthly to check our shot records and stuff, where someone would come in for just that weekend to do a service. That's a healthcare. Anything healthcare really that you can think of could easily be a contract. Now, will they be out front and center? Maybe not. And it might be a combo. Like I had a friend who does contracting. He does staffing, and the CDC, which is here in Atlanta, they needed like a bunch of doctors and nurses for, I forgot which disease it was. It was like Ebola or something. So they needed staff. So on the surface, that's not going to be a healthcare contract, but it's under healthcare. You know what I'm saying? It's like a staffing contract, but that's still under healthcare. So you could easily in healthcare say, I just want to provide staff. I want to provide butts. They call it butts in seats. So I also know another guy he's in healthcare. He's an anesthesiologist. And his first contract out the gate was like $500,000 because he had to provide like three doctors and 2 nurses or something like that. And so, but his payroll was immense for the first 60 days. So that's something to keep in mind too when it comes to any kind of staffing, really. Okay, conversation with you. How do we go about looking for government and local contracts? I think I explained that. So you probably asked before I really explained. So you just Google. So if you're talking about when you say government and local, you kind of like canceling it out. So it's like federal and local. Those are the two. You can say federal and local. You can say federal and state. But basically for federal, it's typically SAM.gov, and that's not all contracts. That's probably like, I forgot what the percentage is. 75% of all contracts, federal contracts are on SAM, but not all. And then local government, you would just Google whatever your state is or whatever state you want to work in. You just Google how to do business with the state of Florida, Florida procurement, city of Miami procurement, something like that. I got 15 minutes, y'all. Oh my God, I might stay on for 1 or 2 more minutes, but that's it. So Chris says it was in Orlando, Florida. You're gonna have to remind me because after I read some of these questions, I don't remember what we talking about. So if you got a question, just help a sister out. I know y'all love me. Okay, so also, Harper, yeah, tell me your name. What sites do you visit to find contracts? So for me personally, luckily the state of Georgia has a very robust, beautiful site, and a lot of them will come to me, and it's under the state of Georgia. Now every state doesn't have that, and I use Gov Directions. So I think you might have missed earlier when I mentioned that Gov directions.com. They have a free version, a paid version, all that. You would have to find out which one you're going to do. But I used the free version for years, for like 2 years, and then I did the paid version. I love it. It's my favorite one. I've used a lot of other websites, and still kind of do, but Gov Directions and then the local Georgia website are pretty much. We look at some. There'll be some others that'll come to me too, but those are my faves. We get enough work through those websites. Now, depending on what industry you are, you might be in a super niche industry and you don't see what it is that you do. So you might have to use some other sites where they show that stuff. And so again, there's still a lot of people on this call. Forgive me, y'all. My nose is itchy. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's my voice, but make sure you hit a like on this video and share it. And don't forget the super chats. Okay. So I hope I answered your question, Harper. Lady Hart questions. I know that the profit take. Oh, okay. Profit. Got it. We spell profit a little bit different. Profit take home will vary. What does that look like? I have no idea, because you're talking about any industry, any proposal. No one has an exact number. The only thing that you can maybe use as a guideline is really with some federal contracts, they'll make you write out your overhead, write out your profit, write out how much each person is going to cost, each supply is going to cost. And typically anywhere between 8 to 15% is going to include your overhead and profit. But that is like, if you have no other way to base a price, but I don't even really use that pricing model much. So just make sure that you know what you're bidding on, and then always look at the previous award amount, not to copy it because the size and scope may have changed or something like that, but always look at it to see, because if the last 10 awards were like 20,000, 25,000, 30,000, and then you over here bidding $1 million, then you already know that you're nowhere near what it needs to be if the size and scope are the same. So I look at them as like a reference point, so just think about like that. Okay, I'm sorry. We're going to get it. Don't say that. So you're asking what contracts are for what you do. Just tell me what you're trying to do and we'll go from there. What do you want to do? Like, tell me what forget what you do, because you're great at what you do, Kay. What do you want to do? And then we'll explore that, okay? We'll explore that. Adrian, I also served in the Army. Okay, whore. Okay, we got some Army people. Say whore. If you're in the Army, go ahead and drop that in the chat. Say whore if you're in the Army. If you were some of the other branches, I guess you can say something too, but it's all about the Army and everybody else. Army and get out with the under general conditions. Can I also claim veteran-owned status, or do I need to be honored discharge? I don't know. I don't know. You stumped me. This is my first question. You win today. You win. Adrian wins. I'm gonna write that down and I will put that out because I want to say yes, you can get the certification. If you are you service disabled? That's the first question. Are you service disabled? I think you're asking veteran on status. So are you just talking about WOSB, which is like meaning you don't have any disability, whether you're gonna get it or not, that's irrelevant. But WOSB, I don't know if you can be under general conditions. So you stumped me. This is the first stumped question I've had. So general conditions, okay, and I will try to find out and then put something out on the community or post it on YouTube or something like that. So let me know if you're service disabled. All right, so Michelle, I'm gonna need you for Maryland. I have pressure washing access to two family members. Pressure washing is my favorite. I don't know how long you've been around, Michelle, but all my videos I talk about pressure washing and litter pickup. And I have two employees in the DMV area, so that would be fantastic. So let me know. Moving right along. Look, we were short on time, and you guys are doing great. Just make sure you like this video and hit me up with the super chat if you feel so inclined. Life cycle style for viable financing question for viable financing options. Most service-based like healthcare staffing contracts require medical insurance, etc. to candidates, nurses, especially for the 3 to 5 year contracts. Yes, that's true. And now, you said kind of several things in this statement. I guess I see I have to stay on a little bit longer. But when it comes to what you're stating, you are 1,000% correct. But remember, you're talking about staffing W-2 employees. So I feel like I don't want to get too deep into this. But when it comes to you providing the staff, you hire through your company, you're paying their benefits, taxes, all that stuff. Yes, medical insurance and some other insurance too, workers' comp, general liability. Well, you need general liability anyway. But just in case you're able to sub out the staffing, then you won't need the medical insurance. So keep that in mind. When it comes, it don't matter if it's 3 to 5 years either. It could be a one time, like I said with the friend that had the contract with the CDC. It could be for, they only need people there for 6 months, and it's for a specific event, especially when it comes to healthcare, because like anything can happen at any time. So really, it's whether you sub or you hire, that will determine the insurance requirements. Okay, so as far as financing options, if you don't have your own funds, like your business doesn't have funds, you personally don't have funds, you don't have a 401k or TSP, or you don't have access to capital like a loan or money you could borrow from a family member, or you know what? I'm sorry, I gotta say this. Like, there's a lot of people out here that have family members who have a lot of money. Like, I did not know there were so many people who they're like, oh yeah, my dad, he retired from blah blah blah, and he has $1 million in his savings, and he's, I can just ask him to borrow 50 bands. I'm like, whoa, that's beneficial. So when it comes to, not having access to capital, factoring is an option. Factoring is based on your revenue or your monthly invoicing. So if you're gonna need that, build a relationship with the factoring company immediately. Usually they need a lot of documentation because they're basically going to advance you the money. If you have a good relationship with your bank, whether it's commercial, whether it's your business bank. Okay, now we're talking. Thank you, Jay, for the super chat. Yes. Thank you. First super chat of the night. Appreciate that. I didn't mean to just jump into that, but I get excited because that means I feel like I'm sharing something valuable to y'all. And don't forget to hit a like on this video. So when it comes to that, if you're gonna, use a funding source that's a little more non-traditional, like outside of your bank, if you don't have a good relationship with them, you may have to use your personal funds if you have a good relationship with your personal bank. And I know that's not popular opinion, but you may not have access to capital any other way. So how are you going to fund your dream? You know what I'm saying? So, okay, now we look. Thank you, Matthew. Also a student. Look, I got a bone to pick with you, Matthew. I got a bone to pick with you because where you been? Okay. Where you been? Let me go ahead and throw that up there. Yes, I love it. Okay, so we're gonna get to Jay's question next. Um, so your info is informative. I appreciate that. I have great network of subcontractors, but I have a little ADD to connect the dots. I need a little bit of Shinapreneur experience for the next level boost. Ready? Whore. Okay, now we talking. We got Army folk. You know what I'm saying? Um, I have my course. I do consultations. You know, it's so funny that you say ADD because I know it's not a funny thing, but really, like my people who are super smart, good at business, when you got that like squirrel mentality, it really is hard for y'all to sit down with the documentation. That's what I realized. So you know, I got the course and I have my consultations, so you can just, you know, when you're ready, I'm here. Matthew, yes, thank you. Just showing love. Also a student, and I'm beyond you because I need to see what's going on, what your update is, okay? So I can feature you. All right, so back to the questions. I feel like I'm gonna be on here for a minute, y'all. I didn't intend this, but y'all showing out. I'm trying to get back to the other questions because they went away. So yes, I like embassy contracts too, honey. So let me go back up. Bonfire, Gov Direction, bid platform are great, and just using the free version. See, that's what I'm saying. Thank you, Noza. And it's Gov Directions with an S. So thank you for writing it in there. So glad to be able to catch the live. Hey, great to see you as well. And thank you again for the super sticker. And we have Simply Chic Nails. I think I remember seeing yours before. Do you know if there are any contracts available for nail technicians? I'm in Michigan. You know what? I actually did look for some because my nail tech was like, hey, I honestly have not seen any. Now I have been looking, but I haven't been looking that much. So my apologies, but you would need to just maybe Google like nail. It might fall under like estheticians, even though that's not technically like estheticians, but might be like a combo because on a military basis, they have like nail salons and stuff like that. So you may not have a nail salon, but you can still provide the service, maybe mobile. So I would look up like either nail contract or esthetician contract or something like that. So just kind of look for that. So yeah, my bad. I haven't really looked like I'm supposed to. All right, look. Hey, this is what I'm talking about. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate the super chat. Yes. Okay. Look, y'all showing out. Y'all must like me. Oh, that's a different noise. My bad. Yes, thank you, Art Michelle. Thank you, Artworks Supply Photography. I'm sorry, Artworks Photography. I appreciate y'all. Make sure you hit a like. So we getting through. We getting through this, and I'm gonna stay on a little extra for y'all because I see there's still a lot of questions and a lot of comments. So, let me go back up. Let me go back up. Let me go back up. So nail tech, sorry, I'm not sure, but just Google that and you should be able to find something. Conversation with you. I'm in South Carolina, Notary Public, and I own a mobile notary business and I offer fingerprinting. And I'm an apostle coordinator. I'm sorry, I don't know what that is. Forgive me. Maybe I should. I don't know. As well, what area would I look into for contracts? So I think I mentioned you would just Google because right now, there's no repository of all the states and cities and counties. There's no repository for all the websites. Keel, who is with Gov Leah, whatever it is. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but he's working on that, and he has like a portal that he is building and an app that he's building to bring those things together. But if you Google and you just literally put in South Carolina fingerprinting contracts, and it should at least take you to the website to do business with the state of South Carolina. Okay, let me try to get through some more of these. For that great response, you're very welcome. I will look into the embassy. Look, if you listen. I don't even know if that noise makes any sense right now. If y'all get an embassy contract and you don't tell me, look, we beefing on the streets, okay? If you get an embassy contract, I better be the first person you call. You hear me? The first. Okay, look, yes. Thank you. Look, we got Mo. Y'all the bomb, I swear. Kay, I hope I answered your question. Kay gonna be like, this girl don't understand nothing. I appreciate you. I appreciate it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I'm glad I could help. So let me try to get back to some of these other questions. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Um, embassy contracts. Yes. Just trying to do the janitorial contract. Okay. So if that's not your industry, you know, maybe try something else. But I'm not saying, there's usually plenty of janitorial contracts. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. But just keep trying. You'll get something for sure. Okay, Jay, I am a caterer and I have a full service entertainment company that will subcontract for me. Okay, you in there then. You in there. So if you do want to, jump into the GovCon tribe, I am here. And I have, here for consultations as well. So just let me know. I have my all my information should be in all my videos on how to contact me. Helen is in relocation services. So the same thing I said, if you were on earlier, Helen, when I spoke to, I'm sorry, the moving and storage company, go to a military base. A lot of times they'll have the housing office. That's what I was trying to say earlier. The housing office, and you can be a preferred company on a military base, depending on where you are. And you can also, of course, do this at the local level, but I would say if you were you were in-person type of person or whatever, like, hey, here's my company and we're here and we want to be a preferred relocation service company for all the troops moving in and out. So I talked about that a little bit earlier. So when you catch the replay, you can hear maybe more of a description. Let's see. It's not a Facebook group. I should have said Facebook. It is outside, it's not on Facebook, but it's GovCon Moneymakers. So the link is always going to be in the description. And when you see the replay, you'll see the link for it. So I mean, it's just too much to try to type it in right now. And okay, so Jay, I was going to hire someone to help me navigate this contract world, but I think it would be more advantageous for me to invest in your program because we the best. Like, we the best. If who's gonna big me up if I don't big myself up? Okay. If you came in a little late, I believe, but I have, a bunch of students I just highlighted and I just fussed at Matthew because Matthew's been around for a minute. And I want all of my people to get contracts. It does me no good if you don't win. Like, I got a whole business over here doing facility management. So I want y'all to win contracts. So that's why, people usually come to me, is because I'm very, very involved. You're going to be dodging me if you don't do the right thing. If your ADD kick in with me, I'm be like, refocus, let's do this. Okay. My purpose is to make sure that you win contracts. So the mentorship comes with it. You have SAM, local, state, and most certification. That's cool. And I know you was like, let me get all this stuff. And then it's like, okay, what now? So I get it. That's kind of how I was when I first started. So boom, reached out. I'm not on Facebook like that, but I'll try to CD Park. I'll try. Make sure y'all hit a like on this, okay? And we got so many super chats there. I'm just like feeling so nice. But I appreciate y'all for contributing to the cause. No, not, you too, girl. No, send me an email, okay? Send me an email. And go to one of my other videos after this. This is probably not the best way to do this, but go to one of my other videos and you will see my email address and how to contact me, Kay. Okay, because I want to hear what you're trying to do. Because I know sometimes it's like you're trying to condense into like 3 sentences and it's a lot. So send me an email and then we can see how to help you because we're trying to get to this GovCon money. Okay. Happy heart, healthy home and commercial cleaning. I got you. You were right. You were right. That's not. Oh, you can abbreviate it if you want to keep it HHHHCC. I mean, you can do that if you want, but I get it. But you can always amend it, so don't worry about it. Okay, whore. That's right. Get in touch. You saw a little pic. Oh, don't threaten me with a good time, honey, because that's my favorite. But look at one of my videos, like I said, so you can get my link tree and all that kind of stuff, so we can connect. And not service disabled, no problem. So you don't have to be service disabled. You can get the veteran-owned small business certification. Okay, and it's relatively the same process. You just got to go on the SBA website. It's like certified.sba.gov. That may be the exact website, but if you just Google, look, Google is y'all's friend, yo. So if you go to Google and you put in VOSB certification, you'll come to the website. I guarantee it. Okay? Guarantee. Okay, so Matthew, working a courier business, that's okay. All right, because I was about to be like, hey, oh, you got a new baby. Congratulations. Where's my clap? That's the baby. Yes. Congratulations, Matthew. I understand. Look, trust me, I understand. All right, now, what we got over here? Wait a minute. Like, these are kind of harder to navigate when I do the super chats. But thank you. Is it Los Angelo? I appreciate it for the love of the game. I appreciate you, not even the question, but just for the love of the game. So I appreciate you tremendously. So going back to this, let me go back. Okay, Matthew with the new baby. Thank you for sharing. Adrian, I want a contract for $7,000. What? Wait a minute. $7,000 for painting. Can I sub that out, seeing that I'm below the simplified acquisition? So the simplified acquisition has nothing to do with it. Is this a federal contract or a local contract? I may not have enough time to answer, to respond to you, but you can sub it out. Like, is it local or federal? That's the main question. But if you already won, you can hire someone to do it, unless they specifically said something. Like, unless they specifically said you can't, then especially if it's local, you should be good to go. Okay. Oh, excellent info. Thank you so much. V's family life and more. Thank you for sharing, sis. You are straight awesome. Thank you. Just starting this, and this is helpful. I'm so glad. That was the purpose of this. So there is a NAICS code for nail salon. Oh, you found it. Okay. Listen, that's how we share information in this world. Like, I love that you did that. I appreciate it. Appreciate you sharing that, because I'm like, I know it got to be out here. I just wasn't sure. All right. So Brent, is it Basie? Well, let me just show this. Okay. Boom. Yes. And then Brent Basie, offer as a service for elderly and disabled individuals. It's part of the ADLs. What is the ADL? I don't know. I'm assuming you're talking to a specific person, so I'm just going to skip over that. And then Martha Blanding, any suggestions for registered nurses not interested in staffing? Also, you mentioned in another video about training course. You came in like, that's okay. So let me just try to answer this quickly. So what time is it? Okay. Registered nurse not interested in staffing. So you can provide a service. So one of the things that one of my friends mentioned was he was an anesthesiologist. He provided IVs, but I guess that's more novelty. But you can provide whatever service that vital signs for certain events. And forgive me, I'm not in the medical field. I was in a medical unit in the military, my last hoorah, but I am not super familiar. So it really would be based on what you do and see if there's something available. Now, that may be more on the corporate side. I'm not sure if they're taking federal contracts that are, just one thing and not staffing. So you would have to kind of like do your own research and see what's out there. If you look at the federal, SAM.gov, if you look at the local side and just say, let me look at my state and see if I see anything for healthcare, you might find something. So I hope that helps. The short answer. Oh, wait a minute. Hold up. Wait a minute. Okay. Find my comment. I was getting to it. Thank you so much. So you didn't know you could include the message. That's okay. Look, it's all good. It's all good. But thank you so much for that. I appreciate the love. And we'll see if we can get to the comments. So H3 commercial. Look, let me do the applause. That's how we do this. Yes, H3 commercial cleaning. That's great. I love it. I got a number in my business name too, Foresight Industries. So I always love companies with numbers in it anyway. Hey, is it Saad? Would love a response from my message above. I'm sorry. Did I miss the? I'm so sorry. Let me go back. Let me see if I can find your message because I ain't trying to skip nobody. Oh shoot, I missed a whole bunch of stuff. My bad. Okay. Let me see if I can find this real quick. Saad, please just redo it because I missed a couple of questions in this, and I don't want to miss nobody. And there was another one I just saw that I missed that I wanted to address. I might be too late now. Sorry, but yeah, repeat that. Yes, whore. All right, we passed that. Way past that. My bad, y'all. Have you discussed looking in the SBA Empower to Grow program? Is that like the emerging leaders? If not, I haven't heard of that program. So that'd be great if you can share. And it'll be even more awesome, Brandon, if you were in our GovCon Moneymakers group and you can share it in there, because once I end this live, you know what I'm saying, it's gonna be ended. So if you use parentheses with Google search, okay, this is if you use parentheses with Google search, those specific keywords will pop up. For instance, if you Google procurement, quotations, yes, city procurement, it will pop up quickly. Very true. Thank you, Matthew. That is 100% correct. And so Los Angeles, I'm active duty with 7 months left going into IT cloud and have the LLC to work under as a 1099. Can I get started with selling supplies to the government? So are you going into IT? What supplies are you selling? Either way, so the answer is yes. You could go into into either of those, but those two things don't really go together unless you're selling laptops or something like that. So anyone that has not liked this video, please go ahead and like. We got the super chats rolling in. I appreciate y'all, and I am over time, but I'm gonna keep going until I'm done with the last question. Overseas contract, I already talked about that, so go ahead and check out the replay when you get a chance. VOSB and SDVOSB under general conditions, you can't get it certified. That's what I'm talking about. So Mrs. Thomas said you can. That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing. So I'm no longer stumped. Okay, Saad, I'm sorry. So just watch your first video and join your live. I'm a student. I'm a student and learning about this. I do have financial backing. So you're better than most, okay? Because some of us out here don't have it. So what do you want to do? Again, I might not have time to answer, but in my other videos, you can see how to set up a consultation with me if you would like. I do answer DMs. So if you found me on Instagram, I don't respond to all the YouTube comments. I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot. So you can watch my videos and learn and do well, or you can schedule time with me. I'm not, pressed about wherever you want to do, wherever your money gonna go. Okay. Talk about your program so we can get in. So yes, do my applause. So I teach about federal contracting, local contracting, corporate contracting. I also have a portion for veterans. So programs that I've attended that are veteran specific, all the freebies for veterans, I have been through it all in this now 10-year journey. Look at me. So if you go to, so really I have forever discounts for veterans. Okay. So if you're a veteran, you just got to show me a little something proving that you're a veteran. You have a forever discount, but I have to create the code specially for you. So just go ahead and email me. Let me go ahead and just put my email address in here so y'all can message me and go from there. Okay. So I don't think I can pin it, so forgive me, but just make sure y'all take down that email address. But yes, so the program is you have unlimited access to me. You have mentorship. Especially if you're in my industries, you can you use my past performance, my team to help you with proposals. You can schedule calls with me. It's like schedule Zoom calls with me. But if it's something that's in the course, and I'm gonna give you the side eye if you don't try to, go about it that way. Now I do have some people who are like, look, I already know how to do all that. I just want access to you, and they pay for the course too, and just I help them with different proposals and stuff like that. So I'm here for y'all. I want y'all to win. So that's what I'm offering. That might be a little bit different from other people. So you can go to sheenapreneur.com, and that's where you'll find the course. But if you're a veteran, of course, I have the forever discount, so you're gonna have to message me separately. So that's just the way that we got to do it. Okay, you don't know where to start, how to write proposals. So when it comes to that, if you're gonna go outside, I do have 2 videos kind of going over bids, so you can look at that as well. But of course, if you're gonna participate in my course, then I have proposal templates. I help you with proposals. We might even sub you out some work specifically, so you don't have to write any proposals. So that's how we just kind of set ourselves apart. So let me try to get through these. As a new SDVOSB company, where would you begin? Would you suggest a JV partner now? Those 2 things don't, well, no, I'm lying. So you can do a partnership. Just be careful. So you have JV partner, you have joint venture is a whole new business. So if you do a joint venture with someone else, that company is a new company. So that's like me and you coming together, and then we go create ABC company. That company has to go get a new certification and everything. Now, if you want a team, then teaming is like you guys kind of bring your sources together and go after an opportunity kind of together. And then that kind of can be combined with a subcontractor, prime contractor relationship. Or you could just do a subprime relationship. So there's like 3. I did a video on this as well to kind of explain it a little bit more. So you don't necessarily need it. You can still go after contracts, whether they're SDVOSB or not. But yeah, you always want to try to use a certification if you spent that much time getting it. Okay, so let's go. All right, traveling nurse. We talked about that a little bit. You made it. Yes, that's Stephanie. Yes, Jacob's Journey is Stephanie. You made it. Thank you, boo. Disabled veteran as well. Been watching for a while. How about athletic trainer contract? Yes. So I actually see most of those on the local level. I'm not gonna lie. And there may be some on the federal side, but I've seen those mostly on the local side. On the federal side, you might see those more with programs, like you just have a built program, and then you sell it to the government or whatever. But really, like training, like they might need for rec centers or something, they might need a taekwondo teacher or something like that. So, or any kind of athletic trainer. And okay, so Los Angeles, I would like to do business with the VA after ETS, like a veteran group home for displaced vets that receive VASH. You're talking more on the nonprofit side. So just remember, if you're trying to start something to help a group of people, forgive me, y'all, my nose is so itchy. I don't know what's going on. But if you're trying to provide a service for people that are like disabled or whatever, then you sound like you're more on the nonprofit side. The thing about government contracting is you do what you do, whatever it is, janitorial, you're a nurse, you're, construction, you're relocating, you do it, and then the government is your client. So when you're thinking about it, don't think of, I want to start this group home. Are there contracts for that? Like you can do that, but can you do that without government? So you just kind of think about, can this be done without a contract? And it probably can, but I think you're kind of merging those 2 together, and which it happens all the time. So no worries, but I'm just letting you know. Okay. Okay, yeah, we already read that one. So can we give IT Service International? Sometimes it just depends on if the agency is a federal contractor. So that's what you got to look at it as, right? And such a blessing. Thank you. I appreciate you. Feeling myself. So let me see if I can pin my email address. Nope, I can't. My bad. Sorry, y'all. Yeah, I can't pin it. But my email address is right here. So go ahead and take a picture or whatever you need to do, because I'm about to get off of this live. And y'all showed out today. So if you haven't liked this video, go ahead and like it. It's not too late for the super chat. But if you haven't liked this video, please like it. Please share it. All of that. So your program, yes, girl. Crystal, me and you gonna fight for real, because yes, I help you with all of that. Adrian, the 7K is federal, but the Apex personnel said I have to complete 15% of the work. We need to probably talk offline, because you've already won the contract. Now you're trying to sub. Usually that's discussed beforehand. send me a message, because Adrian, send me a message, because I got to get more information and more details. Now, when it comes to 15% of the work, usually that's construction. And you said painting, right? So I'm not gonna say don't listen to Apex, but did they have a business doing contracting? I'm just saying. So yeah, I don't know. Send me a message. All right. So can we give the IT service outside the US? How important is for a person to be in the US and execute business? Because I'm located in Canada. I don't know anything about Canada, so I'm not gonna pretend. Sorry, I'm not gonna pretend because I don't know. That was helpful. Oh, you're so welcome. Yay. And looking forward to join the program. Awesome. Best appreciate you too, Matthew. Always a supporter. Yes, thank you. Y'all loving me. Then I need to do more of these, because like sometimes I'll be feeling like I'm nobody's favorite. I feel like Rick Ross, like nobody's favorite. So I appreciate all the beautiful comments. You guys are the bomb. What kind of opportunities are available for pharmacists? Probably a pharmacist, for real. Either a pharmacist. You know what? If there's anybody in here in medical, real quick, if you can offer some advice, probably an actual pharmacist. And I would say, and I don't know if this is a thing, but like mobile pharmacy, is that a thing? Like maybe they just need you to show up and give out medicine and then leave. So probably just a pharmacist, but I don't know. I have never actually looked for that specific thing in healthcare. If someone does have the latest and greatest information for that, just please share it, because I'm about to get off of here and I'm going to show my email address again. Boom. So if this is the best way to contact me, okay? But of course, I don't have all the time in the world, okay? I got about, I think at this point, 18,000 subscribers on YouTube. Gotta do a little flex, you know what I'm saying? I'm on Instagram, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on TikTok. I got the GovCon Moneymakers community, which has over 500 people in it. And we just started maybe a year ago, if that. So it's impossible for me to respond to everybody. So if you have a couple of quick questions here and there, and I have time to answer it, I usually will. Not on the YouTube videos though. That's beyond. But if you like email me or don't call me, do not call me. That's the quickest way for me to get an attitude. I ain't gonna tell no lie. And you can say whatever you want in the comments. But if you call me, I got a whole other business. I got other stuff. Do not call me. But you can email me. Okay. If you email me, then I can get to it and then answer questions here and there. But if it goes into like in depth, where of course I need to be able to like explain multiple things, and that's where the course or the consultation comes into play. Okay. Invest in yourself. It's 2024. I'm so done with y'all excuses. Invest in yourself. Okay. Whether it's you either got the time or the money. Stephanie said that. Stephanie's on the call right now. Time or money. So either watch 1,000 YouTube videos, which is cool, or spend the money. Like that's just, and that's all Mary had a little lamb. Okay. So you're going to do one or the other. So don't get mad at me when you're like, oh, why you're not answering a question and all this stuff. Well, guess what? Just like you busy, I'm busy too. Okay. Don't make me get on my soapbox, because people be coming from me hard. I feel like I provide a lot of information. Okay. And you got to be respectful of people's time. And I'm not saying I'm Oprah, but would you come to Oprah like that and be like, Oprah, why are you not answering my questions? No, you would not, because you respect Oprah's time. Okay. You respect that she's an expert in whatever. So anyone that you come to, it don't have to be me, anyone else that you reach out to, respect their time, like for real. Because once you get into your business and you start making millions of dollars, for real, even if you make hundreds of thousands of dollars and it's way more than you've ever made in your life, and someone just like, how do you do this? How do you do this? And you get like thousands of people a day doing that. How would you feel? Okay. So I'm off my soapbox. I love y'all. I hope you feel like I love you after all of that. Okay. So let me see. Let's see. Consulting for pharmacy or education. Okay, that's good. Consulting usually goes with any industry. So that's very good. Fellow veteran. Okay, Martha, I love it. Information is and time is great. Okay, I love y'all for real. I see one more comment coming in, and then I'm out of here. Okay, so email me whatever's, and if I do another, I think I might do another live like next week because I'm liking this, and y'all are just so awesome. So oh, don't play with me. Don't play with me. I appreciate that. So, no last questions. If you missed anything, we talked about a lot of stuff. Okay, so please watch the replay, share this, all that good stuff. So I love y'all, and this is the last comment. Thank you. I appreciate you. Appreciate me. So until next time, it is your favorite Veteran. I'm out of here.